Starting off some makeup for the soft summer color season, which is one of the 12 color seasons. It is very muted, somewhat cool, and neither dark nor light. Usually foundation that is either marked as cool or neutral is the best for a soft summer. Personally, I like Milk Makeup's liquid foundation in ivory for the winter for my foundation, but there's a huge variety of skin tones within the soft summer color season. For example, Rihanna is also a celebrity example of a soft summer, and I do not think the two of us will be sharing foundation anytime soon. I was really using the color season tool that day with the soft summer blue shirt and also the pale nude pink nails. So I thought I would keep going with color season as my main guiding tool for the whole look today and lean into that the most for makeup. This is focused more on the colors, at least in general, than technique or shapes, because I think it's more helpful to use Kitchener essences for technique or shapes, which for me means leaning into classic essence or romantic essence, but using color seasons to guide the colors. This means that makeup for soft summers is very muted or soft, usually low visual weight. It is neutral, leaning cool, and it's neither light or dark, although that can be different for everyone. For example, I usually use lighter colors for foundation. The colors I use for mascara or for eyebrow gel are relatively dark, and for lipsticks or lip gloss pretty medium. So it usually balances out in a soft summer to not necessarily super dark or light looking, but there's some range within that and also range within individual features. I think another great tip for soft summers, or for soft autumns really, is the word ish. Like, for example, the blush that I'm using is kind of a pinkish, purplish, mauve, maybe slightly berry type color. If you can't put your finger on exactly what the color is, that often means it is very muted, not necessarily a highly saturated pure pink color, and that usually fits the best with an undertone that's not necessarily super warm or cool, and with coloring that's very muted. Bronzer or contour tends to run warm in general, so I would recommend finding a cooler toned brown. A fun part of being a soft summer is that makeup application can be pretty easy, like applying makeup with your finger, because smudged won't necessarily look messy on us the way that it might on a bright or clear season. It just looks smoky or muted, and it looks really harmonious with the overall soft features. I'll take that as a consolation prize after I learned that red lipstick, at least most red lipstick, is usually not flattering on soft summers because so much of it is bright and warm, which is the opposite of our coloring, although a strawberry kind of muted, cooler red type of red lipstick can still look good. And obviously, color seasons are just a tool. That doesn't mean that you have to use that tool every single day. It's just something that's useful to be aware of to help you understand why certain things work and why certain things look a little bit off. For soft summers, and most especially if you also have oily skin like I do, mattifying powder is definitely your friend. I usually put mine on right away after putting concealer around the eyes so that there aren't any creases. And in general, the dewy look often looks more harmonious on people who are a bright or clear season because it also exudes that kind of bright, shiny feature, whereas the more matte makeup, at least for an area as large as the entire face, like for foundation, tends to look more harmonious matte because that's more similar to being soft or muted. I still wear shimmer eyeshadow or sometimes lip gloss, as you'll see later, because with my romantic essence and also tertiary ingenue essence, I can get away with that. But as a soft summer, I wouldn't necessarily recommend so much shine covering the entire face when it's not as in harmony with the color season, but maybe smaller areas depending on what your essences are. A lot of blending is also your friend for a soft muted look. There are some amazing blushes out there for soft summers, and also some less amazing, really bright hot pink type blushes out there. Anything with the word dusty in it will probably look pretty good with your coloring. Things like Dusty Rose, something that's a mauve, anything that is very muted and cool neutral leaning. I'm just going to use this contour powder because it's a cool toned brown. I usually skip highlighter because, again, the shine is not usually helpful for people who are muted. And I'll occasionally use that blush. It is a bit bright for a soft summer, so I'll use it when I want the blush to be the main feature of my makeup. That color pink would be perfect for a true summer that is also very cool and just a tiny bit brighter than a soft summer. I didn't use the palette for this makeup, but I do actually have a matte light purple lavender color that I will sometimes use as highlighter. It's not actually made to be highlighter, but most highlighter has glitter or shine in it, which is usually not the most flattering for soft summers. But if you can find a shade that's light and cool, the purple didn't even look awkward on me because of my undertone, and then being matte, that can work really nicely if you do want to highlight certain areas. And again, when in doubt, blend it some more because harsh lines are the most noticeable on soft seasons because our coloring isn't stark contrast, it's very muted. So if you're not sure if it's blended enough, it would tend to look better over blended and more subtle than not blended enough. This entire eyeshadow palette isn't quite right for me. You can see which colors I use more than others. Some of them I would recommend more to a soft autumn because some of them are warm leaning, but a lot of the cooler neutral-ish type colors, like for example brownish pink, do tend to be really flattering, and as you can see, I use them a lot. A couple of those colors towards the bottom would even be good for a dark winter, who also tends to look really good with smoky type makeup, just a darker, smokier feel than what a soft summer would wear. Now that we've got the cream and inner corners, we'll go in for this taupe color, again brownish gray. That type of color tends to be flattering over the lid. For the crease and outer corner, it's one of the darker colors within the soft summer range. Shadowy looks like a smoky eye tend to be really flattering on muted seasons, and since this one has more of a pinkish undertone, that makes it really helpful being cool leaning for soft summers. Now we'll imitate the same thing, doing this off-white color in the inner corner at the bottom, again white-ish. Not necessarily a color seasons tip, but just a personal preference. I think high-end products are usually worth it going directly on your skin, like for concealer or foundation, but on clearance at the grocery store usually works just fine, at least for me, for eyeshadow and lipstick. Now we've got the same taupe color going along the waterline, blending into the off-white A lot of blending and fading tends to look really good on soft seasons. And now the darker brown on the outer corner, where it will go up and meet the dark brown that I already put in the outer corner on the lid. Having similar enough colors that fade into each other or create an ombre type effect is usually really flattering for soft seasons because it mirrors our muted colors. I always give my eyelashes a good curl. Even occasionally on days when I don't feel like wearing makeup but just want a little extra something, I might even just do that. And usually holding it for a while does make a difference. For mascara, I have a very dark, cool-toned brown, which I would recommend for all summer seasons to use a brown instead of black mascara. Even though black is the most popular, it does stand out as pretty harsh on soft summers. Black is unfortunately one of our least flattering colors. It is a myth that black looks good on everyone. You might be able to get away with it depending on your essence blend, but even then, brown is usually more flattering. I usually do quite a lot of blinking onto the mascara to get long and curled lashes and just a tiny bit on the bottom. And the nice thing about being a soft summer is if you accidentally get mascara on yourself, you can just blend it into your makeup and it won't look like a mistake. It will just enhance the smoky effect. We've got another neutral cool brown for the eyebrows. Sometimes I do skip brows, and I definitely think that soft seasons can because we don't have as striking high contrast features, so you don't necessarily have to redefine these. I just do it subtly sometimes. For lipstick, this has the word raspberry in it, which again, berry is your hint that that's gonna look good on you. And I think I just kind of intuitively knew that before I even knew anything about color seasons, because this lipstick I honestly bought for high school prom. Don't even ask how long ago that was. This is some really old lipstick because it matched the color of my prom dress. And sometimes your intuition does just kind of know which colors look good on you. Finish off with some setting spray because I was actually going on a cafe date with my husband that day and it needs to stay in place. And there we have it, makeup colors that flatter the soft summer color season.